Unpack this. Today we're doing a deep dive into a plant with a really curious name, Astragalus mollissimus.
Right, also known as purple locoweed or woolly locoweed.
Exactly. And our source here is, well, it's an interesting one, William Boericke's Homeopathic Materia Medica.
A classic compendium, really, full of detailed observations from that time.
So our mission, if you like, is to understand how this plant was seen to affect animals so profoundly, and then how those effects were sort of translated into specific feelings, sensations for humans.
Yet the provings in the homeopathic context.
It's a bit of a shortcut, really, to get informed on something pretty surprising. Gives you a real glimpse into historical botanical medicine.
Definitely. It's quite a story.
Here's where it gets really interesting right off the bat.
Yeah.
The plant affects animals in ways that are described almost like
alcohol, tobacco, even morphine effects in humans. That's what
Yeah.
the source compares it to.
which is pretty potent.
Extremely potent. And Boericke breaks down how it affects animals into two very clear stages.
Okay, what are those?
Well, stage one is described as a time of hallucination or mania.
Mania.
Yeah, and it comes with defective eyesight. The animals apparently perform all sorts of antics.
Okay, so erratic behavior.
Very erratic. And here's a crucial detail. Once they get a taste for it, they refuse every other kind of food.
So an addiction, basically.
That's exactly how it sounds. They get hooked, but then after a few months, stage two kicks in.
And that sounds ominous.
It is. It leads to emaciation, sunken eyeballs, lusterless hair, and feeble movements. Pretty grim.
Oh, absolutely.
And ultimately, the source says death as from starvation because they just won't eat anything else.
Just wasting away.
Completely. And there are other things noted too. Irregularities in gait, sort of stumbling around.
Like losing coordination.
Exactly. Paralytic affections and loss of muscular coordination are the terms used. What's fascinating is that clear progression
From the sort of mental disturbance.
right, the mania, the
Yeah.
weird behavior, down to severe physical decay and death. It's quite the spectrum.
So what does this all mean then, when the Materia Medica looks at potential human symptoms? How do these animal observations translate?
Well, they get into some remarkably specific sensations. For the head, for instance.
Yeah.
The source mentions a fullness in the right temple and upper jaw. Very precise.
Huh. Not just a general headache.
No. And pain over the left eyebrow, painful facial bones generally. Also, dizziness and oppressive pain in temples, and the maxillae, the jawbones.
Okay, quite localized pains. What about the stomach?
For the stomach, it notes feelings of weakness and emptiness, and also a distinct burning in the esophagus and stomach.
Like heartburn, perhaps, but maybe more intense.
Possibly, yeah. But then you get to the extremities, the limbs.
This is where it gets really memorable, you mentioned.
It really does. The source describes a purring sensation in the right foot outer side from heel to toe.
A purring sensation, like a cat.
That's the word used. Purring. It's incredibly specific.
I won't forget that one.
And then almost the opposite sensation in the other leg. Icy coldness of the left calf.
Wow. Hot spots and cold spots, basically. Very peculiar.
Extremely peculiar. And these kinds of highly specific, sometimes odd sensations are quite characteristic of these older homeopathic provings.
Right. And the source mentions some related substances,
It does, yeah. For context or comparison, it lists Astragalus lamberti.
which is white locoweed, right?
Correct, also called rattleweed. And it also mentions Boericke and oxytropis. Standard practice to compare related remedies.
And it gives a dose, too.
It does, specifically dose, sixth potency. That's a detail straight from the homeopathic preparation method, a very dilute form.
So it shows how specific they were trying to be, even with these highly diluted substances.
Exactly. It reflects that whole system of belief that even these minute amounts could elicit distinct observable effects. Tells you a lot about how they approach these things.
So quite a journey we've taken there through the, well, frankly, bizarre effects of Astragalus mollissimus.
From mania in animals to purring feet in humans.
It's a lot to take in. Meticulously detailed, though.
It really is. And maybe this raises an important question for you, the listener, to think about.
Go on.
How can just one single plant cause such a wide, complex range of effects? From manic behavior and addiction.
Physical wasting.
Right, and then these incredibly unique physical sensations like a purring foot or icy coldness. What does that suggest about the, hidden chemistry just packed inside the natural world around us? How much more is there really under the surface that we maybe don't fully understand yet? Something to mull over.